I'd like to start by applying some personal context and reflection of the current COVID-19 epidemic, as my 80-year-old mother is unable to use even the 2G phone, and I'm unable to connect. And here I am talking about the next generation 5G. It's kind of a conflicting thought in my mind, but we have to look forward and life goes on. As by 2025, the volumes of mobile data traffic are expected to actually increase by factor of 4, and almost half of that traffic would be carried by 5G networks. That's the current estimate, at least. And the next generation, while solution, will utilize and still coexist with the 4G networks for some while still. And I'd like to take us through some 5G characteristics here. So it's clearly a high performance solution, and it allows new kinds of services like Dagmar already mentioned at the beginning. We can have like much more improved IoT, Internet of Things solutions, device to device communications, support for self-driving vehicles and cars. We'll have increased network capacity and improved coverage overall. So we'll get this uniform performance and experience even at the cell edges that are lacking at the moment. Now the user experience is expected to be hugely improved. We can have large data amounts on the go. And one of the big differences to the current 4G, for example, is the low latency. It's expected to drop from 30 milliseconds even to 1 milliseconds. And to put this into a context, so we cannot, remove the laws of the nature. So the signal will travel at the speed of light. So 30 milliseconds means roughly 9,000 kilometers distance, and removing that latency or delay brings people or machines 9,000 kilometers closer to you, or 5,500 miles. And that's quite amazing already. And then I think what people are really expecting to have is the high bit rates, expected up to even 1 gigabit per second or 10 gigabit per second ranges. And the core tech elements that make all of this possible is the millimeter wavelengths. So we'll start with the 3.5 gigahertz or below 6 gigahertz range, moving on to 26 to 28 gigahertz bands, and up to even in the future perhaps 86 gigahertz. And this again requires very localized small cell structures and ranges, ranging from 10 perhaps to 100 meters or so. And then at some point, when we get under 1 gigahertz frequencies into use, this allows more efficient IoT technologies and use. Other key components, massive MIMO, I'll go through these perhaps in the later session, beamforming, and full duplex. And one of my own favorites is the improved energy efficiency. But moving on from and closing from the characteristics, I'd like to raise this what Dagmar mentioned is the 5G's role as an enabler. So how would Uber be without a mobile internet, and what would be the next Uber kind of service in the 5G era? But the fact is that no one can really tell the multitude of these services at this point, and even the experts usually just guess wrong.